Hi, and welcome to Three of Skeins and Crochet podcast. I am Lisa.
I'm Chris.
And this is episode 111?
12.
112.
Numbers.
So, what you got, Chris?
Oh,
you know what? Let's start with what you're wearing, because this is fabulous.
I know some Addie Day designs. Addie Day spelled Addyddae. She's based in Australia. And I believe this is the Three Rivers shawl.
Yes, it is.
Because I kept calling it the Three Sisters shawl for some reason. But it's a Three Rivers shawl. That's all.
And it's in Lorna's Laces.
I could not remember the name of that company. Yes, it is in Lorna's Laces, but they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, sad to see them go.
But yeah, that's all.
And I am wearing the Over Easy top from...
How do you remember mine?
Oh, yeah, it's coming. The Canadians, the two ladies.
Grocery Girls?
No, the two ladies.
Espace
Tricot. From the original Espace Tricot. There we go.
Are the Grocery Girls Canadian? Did I just make that up?
No, they are Canadian.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we're wearing.
There we go.
I'm going first?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm working on the top. See what happened was. It was supposed to be just a little plain t-shirt, short sleeves, cute little whatever. V-neck. Didn't have enough yarn for that. At all. So, now she's going to be a bit of a tank top. So, let me show y'all. This is the front. I'm going to stop. Hold on a second, y'all. Okay. So I steamed it because I didn't think y'all could see the decreasing before. So body, decrease, and then this part of the top I worked even. And the plan is to fold this down. I'll fold it back this way. And then run a cord through it that will form the neckline and my shoulder straps, and I'll do the same thing in the back. So to just give you an idea of what that's supposed to look like, here is a shirt that I own.
Oh, okay.
So you see how the neckline is ruched? Except on this shirt, it's done with elastic. So there's a casing in here with elastic. Mine won't be done with elastic. It'll just be a straight cord. And so I'll just kind of slouch it a little bit. But this will give you an idea of what it's supposed to look like when it's done. There is some question at the moment as to whether or not it will fit. If it does, it'll just fit. And if it doesn't, I'll figure something out. It is really funny. I don't get stressed about stuff like that anymore. Which is funny because I am a whole entire stress case.
Oh, yeah.
I stress about everything. It's almost a hobby at this point. But I just got in it, like I've mentioned before, I'm a little more confident in my problem solving skills. And, push come to shove, worst case scenario, you rip it out and you still have this beautiful yarn, you can try again, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it will fit. I do. I think it will fit. So basically the back is going to be exactly the same as the front. I cannot get over this fabric though.
Yeah,
it is absolutely stunning. And this is Habu yarns, and this is 100% silk, but with a little heathered effect. I mean, come on.
That's gorgeous. Okay, Crystal, show them what you're working from. The yarn that seems to be connected to something over here.
Okay. See, she's getting in my business is what she's doing. What I needed to do was make sure that I got the whole front done from one skein and the whole back done from another skein. So to finish the front, when I started the front, I used the same skein that I used to make my swatch. I may have cannibalized my swatch a little bit to finish the neckline. So what I am currently attached to, so here is my string where I just finished, and I am attached to what is left of my swatch. And for some reason, she thinks that's funny.
That's funny as heck. Come on.
So,
because sometimes she'll be like trying to work something out. I was like, oh, well, let's take a look at your swatch. And she's like, what swatch?
do you think I have a swatch? So it's a recent thing for me, kind of like hanging on to my swatches and, you know, having them when the project's done. I have not always done that because I was always worried about having enough yarn. And then in this case, I knew I didn't have enough yarn. So the swatch had to fall on its sword, okay?
Yeah.
So, but that means I did finish the entirety of the front from the one skein, and now I have a full skein left to do exactly the same thing for the back, and just enough yarn left over to sew it together, because don't forget about that. You need a little bit of yarn left to do all your little detail work. So now I should have enough to actually finish the shirt. The new version of the shirt.
Girl, you just living that life. That is yarn life right there.
There's good yarn in that swatch, okay?
I'm so surprised because I thought with the lace weight with 900 yards, I felt like you had a lot of yarn. I'm so surprised.
I thought that too. That was also my belief. Not so much.
I've never seen 900 yards be a front.
Well, no, this is 450.
Okay.
So
you had 900 total.
Yes.
Okay.
So I will be able to make a top, just not the t-shirt that I had intended. Because basically there wasn't enough yarn to do from here up.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, you get the store, you see a yarn, you buy the yarn, you love the yarn, and then you don't know what you're going to do with it. And by the time you figure it out, you would have made some choices differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd bought some more yarn, you could have bought a couple of different colors, whatever it is. But here we are. I think it'll be fine.
I think you've adjusted beautifully. Okay, I think it's gonna be, and I'm glad you showed us that top because I was having trouble envisioning what you were going for.
It's gonna be a little bit ruched here.
Fancy, I love it.
And whatever kind of cording I use is not going to be something I crochet because there's not enough yarn for that. So I'm going to have to just like buy some sort of already prefabricated cord and make my shoulder straps and you know, hold up the neckline.
Maybe a silk ribbon.
I'm thinking something silk. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever Joanne has. To be perfectly honest
that's
with you.
That's the bottom line. Okay.
But yeah, that's me and my project.
Well, things are going pretty well with mine. I'm still working on the duck sweater. I have 3 pieces complete. I have 2 sleeves this week. Go me. And the back. And I just cast on the front last night. That. So I'm doing the ribbing now. The next thing that I'm going to do is figure out the positioning of the actual duck on the front of the sweater. So I was actually playing with this yesterday. So I was trying so hard to remember. I learned how to type on a manual typewriter, and then I moved up to an IBM Selectric. So when I had a formal typing class in high school, we had IBM Selectrics and some manuals in the back.
I'm trying to see the connection between that and...
Well, I learned how to center text.
Okay.
So there's a way to do it. So what I did was I was like struggling to remember, but I finally remembered. What you have to do is you take the total number of stitches in the design and you subtract that from the total number of stitches in the front of the sweater. Then you take
that in half.
Yeah, the remainder and divide that in half. So now you know exactly where to place the duck. So now I know where across the front is going to go. And I'm doing a similar process for deciding where on the shirt is going to go. I'm using the rule of thirds. So it's going to be 2/3 of the way up on the shirt. Otherwise, it'll sit in
It'll be a belly duck.
It'll be a belly duck, and nobody wants a belly duck. It needs to be a chest duck. So now that I know, I have my my schematic. Yes, my knitting journal has become incredibly useful to me.
She references it a lot.
I use it all the time. I don't mind having a separate notebook just for my knitting. I thought I would mind a lot, but I don't. So I know the front of the sweater is going to be 20.5 inches. So I'm going to divide that by 3, and 2/3 of the way up, I will start working the duck. I just need to make sure I have enough rows in that. Otherwise, I'm always down a little bit, but I should have enough rows.
Now, is it 20.5 inches from the front of the neckline or from the shoulder seam?
From the front of the neckline, because the front, and the center front is 3 inches shorter than the center back.
Right.
So I'm doing it just from there. From shoulder to end, it's like 23 inches. So that's the sort of thing you want to take into account when you want to center a design on your sweater, or figure out how to place your design on your sweater. It should be fun. I haven't started that yet because I'm just knitting the plain part. I will be getting into that this week. So I have my colors all selected. Oh, and I mounted my duck. Because he was really curled. And it was very hard.
It's getting worse.
To keep him uncurled. So I just stuck him to a piece of cardboard. So now he will lie flat and I will not be struggling.
I wonder like what people would think when they walk into your house and they see certain things. I don't know how we'd explain this. But you know, this is a thing that exists in our home now. That's a enlarged melted duck.
You know what? Sometimes you need an enlarged mounted duck.
Oh, goodness.
So my colors are thus. Anything light blue on the chart is white. I don't know why I decided that. I could have just left it white, but I didn't think of that at the time.
Yeah.
So these are my basic colors for most of the body of the duck. You know, that's going to be the beak and the feet. And then the head is actually quite colorful. So I got some little bitty balls of extra colors for the head. It's beautiful blue.
Okay.
These little balls
are so cute. I always want these when I see them, but I don't know what I would do with them. But they're so stinking cute.
But if you don't have leftover yarn to work something like this with, they're the perfect little solution. They're absolutely the perfect little solution. And these are from KFI, I believe. What do they call them? Yeah, teeny weeny wool. Okay, that's freaking adorable. So this is the KFI teeny weeny wool, and I think they were like 50 cents a ball. So if you just need a little bit, they're perfect.
That's gonna be some duck.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really fun little duck. So my intention is to do intarsia for the big sections and do duplicate stitch for just like the little details, like this the eye and this little thing right here, and where I just have like a couple of stitches, it will be duplicate stitch. So hopefully sometime next week I can start that process. I should have knit up to where to start the duck by then. And that's where we're at. That is absolutely positively where we're at. I'm thinking about another project, but that one is not anything I'm going to start anytime soon. I got very excited by the yarn I got at Vogue. So I took Crystal's suggestion, yes.
It's gonna be so cute. It's gonna be like a fun little commemorative, like. It's my boat scarf.
I'm gonna
With
do
my
a
boat yarn.
I'm gonna do a scarf out of it. So I started thinking about the scarf.
Oh, it's a project now. It's written down in the project book.
It is a project, and I chose a stitch pattern. And I don't have to keep. What I do like about having a knitting journal is I don't have to keep this all in my brain.
Yeah, because some of it falls out.
It sure does. Sometimes like Kelly Bunn did, a new thought came in and the old thought gets pushed out the other side. But I've already chosen my stitch pattern, so I wrote down what book it's in and exactly what page it's on.
Yeah.
Ever done that?
Yeah.
You sunk some time into looking at stitch patterns. You found just the right one. You even put a little sticky on it. But which book was it?
Yes. Yes.
For extra insurance, I just wrote it down. The instructions.
Oh, wow.
So now I can just refer to this.
I feel good when I write down the page number.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's short. It's right here. You have the space. So now when I'm ready to start that project, everything I need is in one spot. I like this feeling.
Right when you feel like your organizational system's coming together.
Yeah. When it works for me, like, what?
Do you think this is what Natalia feels like all the time?
I'm sure of it.
We have a cousin who is just naturally super organized. So when we plan family functions, she's the person who handles all the logistics and stuff. And like, I admire her so much, but I don't know how to do what she does. And I'm wondering, is this just how she feels when she wakes up in the morning? Like knowing everything is in its place.
Like, boop, there you go. But like I said, I like it. I'm just really, really excited. So I'm thinking about my project queue. I'm starting to write things down because now I have a spot where they can go. And as I get an idea or as I find a detail that I like, it has a place to live and everything can kind of come together in one place. So, yay. But that's where we are on projects.
Yep.
Oh, and I'm using the Vogue knitting journal, but any knitting journal will do the trick.
So I just made a discovery. So we knew that there were like some yarn stores in Pennsylvania that are not terribly far away. So I just went online, did a little search, picked out a handful of stores, and I was like, oh, we'll just make our own little yarn crawl and we'll visit some of these local yarn stores. Because we really have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to local yarn stores. Within, I would say, a 1 hour radius, a lot of yarn stores. But now I'm going to their individual websites to see what their hours are. And on one of the store's front pages, they mentioned that they will be participating in something called the Greater Philly Yarn Crawl. Apparently this year will be the first year that they do this. So a bunch of yarn stores that are in and around the Philadelphia area are going to be having their first ever yarn crawl. And I am so excited to have stumbled into that.
Yes.
So it is going to be from March 14th to 17th. That's a Thursday to a Sunday. There are 16 participating stores. Their website, I think, is just Greater Philly Yarn Crawl. And so, you do the same usual thing. You buy the passport, you get it stamped to the different stores, what have you. There's also a tote bag. We just ordered our passports. I got a tote bag though, because it's the first ever year they're doing this. So I was like, I need like the commemorative tote bag. But I'm really excited. Now, that means we now officially have a yarn crawl in March.
And one in April.
Yeah. I don't know how this is going to work out, especially in terms of the budget. I may have to do my like one skein a store thing again. I don't know. But I kind of want to have like at least one project in mind and shop for yarn for that specific project instead of always having to figure it out after I get home. I see people who come to yarn stores with like
a list.
Yeah.
I find that to be wild. I love it and I admire it, but
when I go into yarn store,
run amok.
It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. You ever see Kindergarten Cop? And early in, because Schwarzenegger's character was not supposed to be with the kids, his partner was, but she gets sick, so he has to pretend to be a kindergarten teacher, and he's terrible at it. And so the school has a fire drill, and all the other classes, they walk out the school orderly and everything's fine. Schwarzenegger screams, "Fire!" And all his kids
are just tumbling out of the school.
Yes, even the other children were appalled. That's me in a yarn store. That's what's happening in my head. So I may try to like make some sort of cue or something, a list of things that I want, or I don't know. But I just discovered a new yarn crawl and I could not be more excited. So we're gonna vlog it when we go, and we'll tell you all about. I love going to a new yarn store for the first time.
Yes.
That is always so exciting because I just love seeing how different yarn stores are curated. Because having had a yarn store, a lot is based on your personal preferences.
Yes.
Which means that every yarn store is going to be really unique. So I love the whole yarn crawl concept and getting to just kind of roll from one to the next and just see all the different choices the various owners have made. So I'm really looking forward to this.
And I think it's nice because as you're making across the year, now you have an idea of where to look for whatever it is you want to find because you know who focuses on what.
I was thinking about that because you want to see what's unique to each store and what store has that one thing that you might be looking for. And yeah,
I think
there's going to be like a whole new list of resources for us now.
I think what I'm going to do is make a section in my knitting journal where I just make a note of interesting things I see at individual yarn stores. So when I'm looking for something or I think I can find something, I can actually just call up that yarn store and say, hey, do you still have that, whatever it was, that time that I saw it?
I'm so excited. Oh my God. It's like Christmas in March. And then again in April.
And then again. Do you guys go to yarn crawls or yarn events? I would love to hear about.
I know a lot of people live in yarn deserts.
Yeah.
And it's almost weird to me that there are so many yarn stores in this area because there's nothing else. Like, this is kind of a dead zone as far as I'm concerned. So I feel like at least we have yarn stores.
At the very least.
So are you in a yarn desert, or do you have like a little community crawl that you like to go to? Because I know Connecticut has a little crawl like that. There's one in, where is it in Cal? Is it LA? There might be an LA yarn crawl.
Yeah. And New York is starting to have one.
Yeah, because apparently there's a ton of yarn stores in Brooklyn specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been thinking I need to hit those, right? I mean, visit those.
And I heard something, I'm going to have to look and see if this still happens, but I thought I heard something about a North American yarn crawl.
Will you like travel cross country?
It's apparently it's across the entire year, and it's, so people do segments, people do, yeah.
I have never heard of such a thing, and it sounds exhausting.
Oh, it does.
If I had someone else driving, I'd be like, yeah. But
we could pack up in an RV. That would be amazing.
We ain't doing that.
No van life for us.
I want my domicile to be stationary. I don't want it to ever roll.
Didn't someone have their tiny house stolen?
Yes, and more than one person had their tiny house. People just hitch up the whole thing and take your house.
Yeah.
Nope.
There's something to be said for a stationary.
For a slab foundation, right? Just concrete.
But if you are in the greater Philly area and you're thinking about this yarn crawl, say hi if you see us. That'll be really cool.
I got a yarn buzz. I'm so excited. We just found out about this. So I'm still just like, what? Yarn!
So should we make a sticker that says yarn buzz?
Maybe.
Because you know what? And most people don't know about the yarn buzz, but I'm feeling it too.
So check that out. Go to their website, Greater Philly Yarn Crawl. You know what? Their website might just be Philly Yarn Crawl. We'll put it in.
We'll put it in the thing. Yeah.
But see you there. So I think that's all we have for this week.
That's it today.
Our projects and being yarn goobers. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next week. And stay stitching.
Bye-bye.